everyone, welcome to the Knockcast. I'm your host, Captain Oblivious, and today I'm joined by my good friends Aaron,
Hello, how are you?
Volkan,
Nice to be here.
and Yash.
Hi.
Today, guys, we are going to talk about the UFC 241. It's taking place tomorrow on Saturday. If you're an American, you can watch on Saturday. If you're in Europe, it takes part in the early hours of the day of Sunday. You can watch it there. And I put a card here. I'll go through the games at first. I'll just announce them the fights. Fighting is not a game. So Derek Branson goes up against Ian Heinisch. Then we have Gabriel Benitez going up against Sodiq Yusuf. Then we have Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. Anthony Pettis versus Diaz in the big championship fight is Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. No doubt, guys. Only the championship fight is going to be 5 rounds. The rest are all 3-rounders. And I would like to pick up the game first from the Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero fight. What a crazy fight. What a power fight is going to be. 2 crazy punchers. Of course, Yoel Romero is very good known for his wrestling background. Olympian. The guy is makes a madness when it comes to the ground. But he's adapting to the opponent, so if the opponent comes in and strikes with you, he will strike with you straight away. He won't shy from it. And he just explodes out of nowhere. He has this very special style of fighting. He just explodes out of nowhere. He can catch you, and you're going to sleep. We've seen it before many times. And the other side, Paulo Costa had 12 fights undefeated. He fought Hendricks a couple of fights ago. And his last fight was against Uriah Hall. The guy is pressure, straight up pressure. He keeps on pressuring you, punching hooks. His hooks are so strong. And if it happens to go to the ground and he's on top of you in half guard or a full guard, he's just gonna ground and pound your face into the canvas. So this one crazy fight. It can go either way. For me, I cannot give a prediction. It's just so crazy. But just 2 guys that can knock you out with one punch, with one hook is just crazy. Looking forward to this fight. Then moving on to the Pettis and Diaz fight. Volkan has you on this one. So Volkan, this fight, Pettis versus Diaz, crazy fight, a co-main event. What do you have to say about it?
Well, as you already said, it's going to be a crazy fight. Right now, we've not seen much from Nate Diaz. I have actually not seen it. I've seen on social media that he is still training, but I don't know what kind of training he's doing at the moment. How much has he dedicated himself to these training sessions? Has he had a training camp? Because against Conor, he did not have a training camp. And I'm also, unfortunately, recently there's been some picture leaks where he has a blunt in his mouth. / weed, but we can get into that later. It's a 3-round fight. I believe that it's actually a tough one to predict because Nate, he's only won on points 3 times in his 30 30 plus fight. I don't know. I'm told how many he has. I think it's around 30. And Pettis, he has a lot of wins on knockout, but the issue is it's only a 3-round fight. Nate is not the type of fighter to get gassed out early. We saw it against Conor, especially. The guy can take a beating. And personally, I don't believe Pettis is hitting harder than Conor at that point. So, equal fight. In my book, Pettis is a small favorite, not by a big margin, but it's because he's fought recently, and as I know right now, he's not taking any drugs or smoking anything or doing something that can give the opponent a physical advantage.
All right, Aaron? I think Aaron is...
Yeah,
you're here. Can you give us your thoughts on Diaz versus Pettis?
yeah, I agree with Vulcan. That's going to be a very close fight. I think it'll be very entertaining. I'm a big fan of Nate Diaz. I love the way he just loves fighting. He's just a full-on fighter. He just loves a good scrap. I know he's into he does a lot of triathlons and all this, and he's into his cardio. So I think fitness shouldn't be an issue. And he's very good in the jiu-jitsu. And I think that he could come away with this one with a win. Possibly with a submission, but I don't know really how it'll go. But I think it'll be a good scrap. I think Nate Diaz will win.
All right, I'll pick up from the first point. I'll talk very briefly because we'll talk about later about the joint. It was only his open workout, all the cameras were watching, but he said it was CBC. But we come back to that one later on. So my thoughts how the fight will go. We have Nate Diaz. He's a bit flat-footed on welterweight, which means his footwork is not so active as it is on lightweight when he makes lightweight. So Pettis is very, very popular for chopping opponents' legs with his leg kicks. So if he manages to do that on Nate, then Nate is left only with his boxing and his jiu-jitsu. And without your legs, you can't really take your opponent down. So he's pretty much left with his boxing. And his boxing is volume. It's not like power. And you only have 3 rounds. And that's how usually Nate loses his fights when it goes to decision. Because he has no other option than throw his volume while his opponent is doing more things like takedowns. But power punching that is more significant than just a normal punch. And then from the other side, Pettis, one punch knockout, Nate Diaz, iron jaw. I don't think iron chin. I don't think we're going for a knockout. We're going either from stoppage, from a submission from one of the 2 lads, or we're going in decision, and there Pettis wins. But wins only if he chops Nate's legs and Nate already flat-footed on welterweight, he'll be in an even worse position, having no legs. If the fight goes to the ground, Nate has an advantage on his jiu-jitsu, but Pettis is very good on the ground as well. He's been in the submission fights many times in other promotions. While he's in UFC, he took one against Masvidal a couple of months ago. Of course, lost. Masvidal is a bigger welterweight, and using only your body there, you can't use punches or anything. So it was easier for him to lose it. But yeah, my prediction is that Pettis wins most likely by decision, a unanimous decision. Anything else to add on this fight, or shall we move on to the last one?
I think we should move on. Everything has pretty much been said. Yeah.
So, main event, Cormier versus Miocic 2. First fight of Miocic, Cormier versus Miocic ended in Cormier winning the fight in the first round via KO. He was in the clinch, short hook, dirty boxing. Miocic was out completely. He took a couple of extra punches on the ground. Aaron, what do you think about this one? Cormier versus Miocic 2.
Yeah, I think it'll be the same outcome. I think Cormier is going to be too much for Miocic. I'd say I will go with a knockout. I think Cormier is a great champion, and he's been in a lot of heavy fights. The only fella that's beaten him is John Jones. So I think there's not much going to change, and I'll go with him with a knockout.
Yeah, let's say note on that one. You said John Jones defeated him. It has to be noted that was on light heavyweight, and Cormier in heavyweight lost only 1 round in 15 fights he had on heavyweight, and that was a first round against Barnett. He didn't lose any other rounds or any fights on heavyweight. That has to be noted, which makes him an even bigger favorite against Miocic. And Volkan, what is your opinion on this one?
Well, obviously a great fight, a big fight. I've checked Bet365, and a lot of bookies, they have Cormier as a small favorite, but I don't agree with that. I think Miocic, even though he lost the first fight, you could call it a round as well, since this is pretty much round 2, but he still has the height advantage. He still has knockout power. I believe that's going to play a big part this fight. He's learned from I believe he's learned from his mistake in the last fight. But I would note that I have not actually seen what training Miocic has done, what he has spent his time on. But I know actually that Cormier has been training a lot in this training camp. If you go on Khabib's coach, if you go on his YouTube channel, it's called Mountain MMA. You could see that every day there's a video that's been uploading. They're not showing the training sessions, but they are showing that those guys are coming out from training and they're training together. So I know Cormier is taking this fight very serious, as he always does. He's a great champion, and he pretty much owns this heavyweight division at the moment. But it's Miocic. He has knockout power. He has the height advantage right now. I could see it playing as his favor. Yes.
I believe Cormier wins this one. Of course, I don't believe it will end the first round because Miocic problem in the first fight. He kept pulling his left arm down, and it was a major mistake from his side doing, and he left exposed, and he took the hook, and it was a straight up knockout. Other than that, I believe Miocic had very good combinations in the first fight. The 1-2 was going crazy. But as the round was going on, Cormier started catching up. At some point, they were equals in the first round. And that proves that if Miocic did not improve, we haven't seen him taking another fight since then. We don't know. Is he better? Did he improve? Is he becoming more, not more, is he becoming a bit sloppy? Not fighting for over a year now.
Yeah,
If that's the
exactly.
case, then Cormier wins. If Miocic got even a little better, he's winning first round, and then Cormier usually wins the rest of his rounds. I just can't see Miocic winning. If it goes to the ground, Cormier is used to be in the Olympic Games for wrestling. Standing, if they go in the clinch, Cormier is a master there. So I can only see Miocic winning if he managed to keep Cormier away from him outside the clinch, standing, and keep that 1-2 going because he's the bigger heavyweight. Even though he weighed more in the weigh-ins, he is the biggest out of the two of them heavyweight. And anything else to add to this fight? Do you have any other details on this one?
Well, as you said, we don't know what kind of training Miocic has done. Has he been training? Has he been slacking? I think that's going to play the main point in this fight. I believe that if Miocic wants, he can take this fight. I believe he's the better fighter. He has more knockout power, and he has the height advantage. This three key main points. And but it is the issue. The reason why I'm kind of hesitant towards this is because I have actually seen that Cormier is training at the moment, and he's fought recently. He has, I think he has had like 3 or 4 fights in between. He is very active, despite his age. He's around 40, so yeah, equal in terms of skill and experience, but to me, I will still put Miocic as favorite due to the advantages he has.
All right, I would like us to take a conclusion, all the fights, starting from Paulo Costa and Yoel Romero. I'll talk about that one personally. If Paulo Costa wins, it will be like if this guy wins, where does he go next? If the other guy wins, where does he go next? I say if Paulo Costa wins, he's going straight up for a title fight after Adesanya squares up with Whittaker. If Yoel Romero wins, he doesn't go straight into title fight because he comes out of 2 losses consecutive against Whittaker. He will have to either beat the loser of the next of the upcoming title fight, or just fight someone like Gastelum. Then moving on to Nate Diaz versus Pettis. I think if Pettis wins this one, he's going up and fights a guy on the top 10 or in the top 5, because beating Diaz gives you a bigger lot of popularity. If Nate wins, I see him, they will try and make the corner fight, the third corner fight, I call that one. If not, Nate Diaz might face Stephen Thompson and then move on from there. I don't know yet after that one. What do you guys think where Pettis goes, while Nate Diaz goes after this fight? What do you think it will go, Aaron? Where do you think this goes? Is he fighting a higher ranked opponent? Is he fighting for the championship? What do you think? Is he fighting Conor, Nate? Next.
I'm not really sure. If Nate wins, I'd love to see the trilogy. I'd love to see him fight Conor again. I think there's a lot of backing for that. I think the fans would love to see it. The first 2 fights were some of the best fights in the UFC, especially the last fight. So that'd be my preferred option now if Nate was to win.
Yeah. Volkan, what do you think? Where does Nate go after this one? Where does Pettis goes after this one?
Well, I could see Nate taking on Conor again. It's a dream match everyone wants, but it's pretty much up to Conor. He's the one picking all his fights, picking his opponents. Yeah, I would actually like to talk a little bit more about Pettis. If he wins against Nate Diaz, I could see him going on to fight probably the winner against Colby Covington and Usman, because he's capable of taking on to the top guys. We saw him fighting Ferguson in the lightweight division. He put up a good fight. Unfortunately, broke his hand. I think Pettis is a guy that wants to go for the top. That's also why he took a true veteran of the sport, taking on Nate Diaz. I think he wants to prove that he's one of the top guys and he deserves a shot.
Alright guys, I think we should move in our news. We have 3 news for you. It won't take long, this one. We got Nate Diaz lighting up a joint during his open workout, smoking it all over the place. And people were bamboozled. They were like, what about USADA? Dana was facepalming himself in Twitter. Like, what's going on here? The Nate says it's a CBD, it's calling something like that. It actually helps your body to recover, as Nate explained. He said that it doesn't have the other portions of the weed in it. He will smoke that after the fight, he said. But fast for now, it's only CBD. What do you guys think? Is it true? Is it not? Is the fight going to be cancelled? Is it something stupid he did? Is it smart? Is it helping me recover, Volkan?
Well, you could see that Nate, he was not in the face-off. I don't know if he was hiding in the background or something, but Pettis was actually standing there alone with Dana. So they might have some inside. There might be some inside information we don't have any clue about as of now. It might have been a mental move to affect Pettis, to maybe show that Nate is probably too good for him. Like, he doesn't need to stand there. He's the bigger star of those two.
I would like to interrupt you before you continue. Dana said that Nate told him that because I attended a lot of media yesterday, I won't show up today. And Dana said if he didn't do the media yesterday, I wouldn't allow him to be absent today. I don't know if that's true or something else happened. As you said, we don't know. That might just be Dana talking, like covering up Nate. We don't know. Please continue.
Exactly. We don't know what's going on with these two. I think Dana might have been disappointed because he's giving him another chance.
He was facepalming himself on Twitter,
yeah, to fight, but to me it's an incredible stupid move. Like, if you're going to pull something like that off, please do it off camera. Don't show the world, especially don't do it in front of your boss. About the effects it has on your body, I believe it's full of bollocks. I actually don't believe it's true. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. Nate is a controversial guy. Like, it doesn't surprise me that he's pulled something like this off, but that's why we love him, right?
You can you either love him or hate him. There's no in the middle. There's no like saying I don't care about Nate. So, Aaron, what do you think about Nate lighting up that joint out of nowhere in the open workout? He says it's CBD. He says it's healing him. Do you believe it? Is it true? Is it a bad move? Or what is it?
Look, I'm not surprised by what he does anymore. Like, the man just loves it. He doesn't care. I don't know what it was. I'd say he doesn't care what it was. It could have been anything. But I know Dana White was going mad about it. All right, you can understand why he would be, because it's a bad image for the UFC and all people watching. And then I still think the fight will go ahead, because I couldn't imagine him pulling it now. But yeah, look, that's Diaz all over, really. I remember the press conference with McGregor when they're throwing bottles at each other.
I would like to interrupt you there and talk about him tossing bottles in the monster cans. After that incident, the monster cans are always empty from after that. And they never leave them full because of that incident. So Diaz and Conor changing the UFC first hand. About the CBD, they said that they're partners with the UFC.
Are they?
Yeah, the CBD, but we don't know if Nate is actually smoking all the weed, all the portions that the weed has in it. But we don't know. It's just a mystery. It's Nate Diaz.
I'm sure it'll come out at some stage, maybe.
Yeah, I hope they come out and clear it so the fight doesn't get cancelled or anything like that. No one wants that. Alright, Yash, do you have anything to say about this one? My man lights up with joint in the open workout. What do you think?
Well, I think people shouldn't overreact like that. If you take, for example, like Ronaldinho, he said he had intercourse 30 minutes before a game, and that helped him having a good performance. It's the same if the guy says that he's lighting a joint and it helped him fight better. So people should just let go. As yet, he's experienced and old enough to know what he's doing.
Alright, then I think we should move on to our next story. The notorious Conor McGregor picks a fight with an old man in the pub. Midday as it appears, there's light all over the place. So what is the video? I won't put the video on for copyright reasons. I'll just have a picture of his hand flying towards the old man's face. Conor enters the pub. What happens? He's there. He looks like he's about to gift everyone a whiskey shot. He's there. Nobody. It didn't seem like people gave that much attention. It looks like he's around his neighborhood, so they must be familiar with Conor. They actually might have a grudge with that old man. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who that man is. So he goes up at the bar. He picks up the bottle. He starts filling up the glasses. Then it appears the old man said something to him like, "No, I don't want your whiskey. It's cheap," or something like that. We don't know. He might just said, "I don't want, thank you, but I don't want it." Then Conor reacted in a way like it seemed like he's put his hand on his chin, and then he just threw a hook or a straight. We don't know. It also looks like there's a glass in his hand, maybe because it's too blurry. And he just throws the whatever it's in the glass on the whiskey on the old man. We don't know that. People have been reacting. It's a really bad situation for Conor. It puts his image down. Who knows? Any publicity is good publicity, they say. That might be true, that might not be. So what do you think, Volkan, about this incident?
Well, as you say, we don't know what's going on for sure. I read somewhere that it's actually an old clip. It's not something that has happened recently. It's just now that it has come out.
Exactly. It is an old clip. It's all the way back from somewhere in April, I read. Allegedly, I'm not allegedly, I'm not sure. It happened for sure, this incident. So carry on, please.
Yeah, but these things happen in pubs all the time. Like people have bar fights, fighting pubs. Like it's just a normal Irish thing to do. In terms of what the old man said, like we don't have any audio on it, but I don't believe Conor is the type of guy just to go around and hit people. especially he has had those issues in the past with the bus incident. He has also, I don't know if it was a rumor, but there was something about him having issues with an Irish cartel where he had apparently beaten someone up, and they were chasing him. He had to pay a fine. But I just don't believe Conor. I know he has done a lot of things. He says uh, a lot of things you might not agree with. He does a lot of things, but he's also a very smart guy. He's a businessman. I don't think he would ruin his reputation like for nothing. He might have been drunk. Who knows? But these are things that happen rarely. I think the only reason this thing got a lot of attention is because it's Conor. Because
Exactly. If
it's
it was a random guy punching another guy, nobody
exactly.
would care. Police would
Yeah.
say, yeah, pay the fine, go home.
Exactly. It's probably his image that people are going after because he's a very controversial guy. He has done a lot in the past, and he's probably the most famous UFC fighter of all time.
Yeah,
Like
there's no
what?
doubt in that.
But yeah, I believe the story has been. I just think it's.
It's
I don't
overreacted,
know.
you would say.
Exactly. They are doing it to try to ruin his image. Like these things happen all the time. It's normal. Yeah.
Hi, Aaron. What do you think about this one? Conor
Yeah,
enters a pub, punches a man, old man. What is your...
it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good anyway, from my point of view. Like, obviously, no one knows. Only the people there know what actually happened. So I can't really like the fact that the man was just sitting there and then McGregor hits him. I don't know. It doesn't look good for McGregor. It could damage. I know. I live in Ireland, and a pub near me were going to do a promotion for his whiskey. They're supposed to be bringing it into the pub, but now it got cancelled due to this coming out. So I don't know. Like he's just as mad as Diaz. Like he's nuts as well. Like he does whatever he wants. Money just drives everyone mad. But I don't know. It could go really bad for him, or I don't know. I can't really see a good side to it, really, to be honest.
All right, Yash, you have something to say? Conor McGregor was in a pub in Ireland. He's the man there. He's giving free shots for everyone. We don't know if he has grudges with the man. We don't know if they have altercations in the past. He punches him. He doesn't really react.
Well, first of all, the man is lucky Connor didn't break the bottle on his head. Saying like it's Connor
That's
we
the
are talking
thing.
about. Like the guy, I think that's what make his personality. Like it's kind of, it's like it's the same with Ibrahimovic. The guy self-proclaimed himself a god. He says they should replace the Eiffel Tower on his name. That's what make people follow them, love them. It's same for Conor. If he don't do those things, the UFC will just look boring. People won't follow him. It's that craziness in him that's making that image. And I think people are just trying to make him look bad with that incident because we don't know anything exactly what's happening in the.
Yeah, we don't know. It's just if like I said, if it was just a footage and Conor was not famous, it would look like a guy that went in the pub. He tried to do something. He told him something. He got offended. Maybe Conor said something back as well. We don't know. And then he just punched him. I don't know. Anyway, that's a story there. But we don't get many similar ones like this one. I don't like this. It gives a kind of a bad image for MMA, and as Aaron said, another pub didn't close the job, because of this incident. So last story, Ngannou. It seems like Ngannou will be the next Fast and Furious movie, as he posted into his Twitter hashtag Fast and Furious. How do you see this one? Is he gonna be a partner of Dwayne Johnson, Vin Diesel, being the good guys? Or is he going to be the next villain? He sounds like an evil guy. When he talks, he sounds like he could be potentially an evil type of villain. What do you think, guys? What is his role going to be in Fast and Furious? Volkan, can you give us what do you think?
Well,
He's going to good, the bad guy? What is he going to do?
Well, to me, he's probably one of the nicest guy in the UFC and MMA in general. But I think they're going to give him a a villain role because he has like he has this massive body. He can make those expressions. Also, he's one of the most badass fighters in UFC. Like, it's you don't do not want to get punched by this guy. Everyone knows that. Uh, but this actually comes as a surprise to me because he's actually in a very good run in UFC. In his last three fights, he's been overwhelming. He also beat Cain Velasquez, who many people believe was probably one of the best to ever grace the octagon. Um, yeah, good for him. A little bit surprising, but yeah, I wish him the best. But just I enjoy watching him fight, and so I hope he'll be back right after the shoot.
All right, I would like to run the podcast a bit back to Cormier versus Stipe. What do you
Yeah.
think they go after the fight? I think they see he might retire. If he wins, he retires. If he loses, he might go have another fight with Jones on light heavyweight. But if he wins, I think he retires. Miocic, if he wins, he picks up the title, goes up and defends against Ngannou. If Miocic loses, he's going back in the rankings. He's fighting like someone Junior Dos Santos, someone else. What do you think, guys? What do those two go after the fight, Aaron?
I'm a, I think Cormier could retire. I don't think he actually wants to. I don't know if he wants to fight John Jones again because it hasn't got really got well from the last few times. But yeah, I probably could see retirement go into to be an analyst about this on UFC. Then I'd say.
And Volkan, what do you think? Where do they go after this fight?
Well, I think this fight is a do or die for Miocic. I believe if he loses, I don't think we'll see him for a long time. His age is also, I think he's around 36, 37. It's time to, if he really wants to do something, it's right now. He has to be active again. And I believe in order to boost his confidence, he has to be one of the best. I think he's a guy who wants to matter. If he's either going to be champion or it's going to be nothing. That's why he's also taking Cormier as his first fight since the break after his loss. And for Cormier, I think he wants this money fight with Brock Lesnar because he wants to retire. He wants a giant check. We all know that. But I don't know if they can make it happen. Obviously, everyone wants to fight Brock, but yeah, there's something with the WWE. They don't want to let him go. It's also he's not happy with the new pay-per-view system, so it's going to be tough. About Jones, I've always had this feeling. Sorry if there's any Cormier fans, that I've always had this feeling that Cormier is kind of with Goose afraid of Jones. I don't think he wants to lose again. He's already lost twice. I know Jones tested positive, but it still doesn't look good on the record. Um, Plus, those two are the biggest rivals in these lightweight and light heavyweight and heavyweight divisions. And right now, Jones is coming on top. So I don't see him fighting Jones again. Probably, maybe he just doesn't trust the guy anymore. Like if he's like, oh, all right, you're on steroids, like, and they're not doing anything. Why should I fight you again? Like, let me fight someone else who's going to give me a paycheck and that actually fights fair. So I could see him potentially fighting Lesnar if they could sort his contract out. But as I said, I don't think he's going to retire without a big money fight, and I just don't see it happening with Miocic. I think he wants something more to end his career on. Yeah.
Alright, guys, at this note, I would like to close the Knockcast. Thank you all, four of you for being here, all three of you for being here, and Aaron, Volkan, Yash, thank you so much for joining. And I would like to thank the people. Thank you so much for watching our podcast, which is named after the Knockcast. And we'll see you later.